Scene 3, take 1. Action.
I pride myself on being quite a logical person, but the response is always, oh, you're too emotional, or it's harsh, or maybe you can tone it down or find a way to play it down.
I think it's actually a tradition that women are supposed to behave in a certain way.
For us to have a workplace that is healthy, we must constantly put measures in place to rid that environment of stereotypes.
When I'm passionate and I try to drive home my points, I'm seen as very emotional. Medina, you are being emotional.
Being that I'm a woman, I see experiences where guys have the same exact reaction, but it's not interpreted as being emotional.
A whole lot of those things set up barriers or set up a wall that hinders a woman from moving.
As a woman in Nigeria, you are already at a disadvantage because everybody thinks that you are lesser than any man.
So sadly, gender bias does exist in the workplace.
Many women come to the workplace with zeal for excellence, but they get there and because of the stereotype and glass ceiling, they succumb.
It feels sometimes like you're losing certain parts of your personality, but I've decided to chuck it up to personal development and get better, improve my interpersonal relationships.
As a black person and a woman, you are really rated not too highly.
I had a male driver who it was so clear that he had issues with me being the boss. So if we had issues, he would rather defer to male members of the family than to actually take instructions from me. And every time I confronted him, he always felt, oh no, madam, no biso. He always made me feel as if I was being overly sensitive, but it was clear from his reaction, his demeanor, and watching him interact with other men in the family that he had an issue with me being his boss. I think dealing with that kind of person, it was a little coming from the place of the level of education and exposure that he had. It was difficult for him to just comprehend that I have a wife like you at home, so why should I listen to you?
Well, in our society, a lot of the ways we behave is dependent on our culture, on our tradition.
Culturally, what we're used to in this part of the world is that a woman is either married or not yet married. So when you start to bring in the context of being divorced or separated, people make comments about, oh, you're still at work, who's looking after your child? Giving the impression that you wanting to be a successful, capable member of your team, you're somehow putting your family in jeopardy or at risk.
Not just divorced and single women, even married women. If you are married and you are thriving in the workplace, it's because you are not submissive to your husband at home. If you are not married in the workplace, either divorced or single, it's because you cannot be submissive to a man in the workplace. And there are so many policies also that do not support your marital status. A typical one that I keep wondering is, why must my HMO be for my spouse and my children? Why not my dependents? And you find out that many times it is the women that are at the receiving end of such policies.
I think it's quite unfair. Women juggle a lot of things. Single moms in particular have to, bear a lot of burdens that they would normally share. It would be great for us to be more supportive of these women rather than make them feel that they're less than they are.
I think the easiest way is speaking out and speaking up. By speaking up, I genuinely mean that when you see something that's not going properly, as opposed to saying, oh, nah, my guy, or bro code, right? You should stand up, right? You should call it out.
If we have a more enabling environment that is free of stereotypes and biases, women would excel and do great things.
Well, for me, that kind of workplace would be where we have policies that, reads the environment of bias, where we have conversations that are, let's say, stereotype free.
And when we begin to have such policies, then unconscious and conscious biases that are fueled by societal expectations are also played down.
And also, the onus falls on men. The onus falls on you, right, to to be the change leader, to look out for some of these subtle things, character-wise, subtle jokes, and all these things that that women generally are not comfortable with, and then speak up about it.
To the young girls,
You can be so much more.
I think they should be more assertive.
Dream for more. I'm happy today that in the world there's so many examples of strong women, both here in Nigeria and right across the world.
When we have to celebrate women, there's need to give them their flowers. All right. We must constantly think about how to ensure that we have women in more leadership positions.
Sterling has been very, very encouraging, and I commend them for that.
Sterling has built a very solid foundation to ensure that there's no gunshot on a woman's leg, right? She comes in fit, she comes in happy, and she can compete with anyone.
So I think Sterling has taken the right steps to put its money where its mouth is and give women a safer, a better work culture and environment to work in.
We're already doing a lot, but there's need to do more. There's always room for improvement.
When you give a woman something, she always multiplies it positively. So give them a space to multiply in the workplace and in the society.
My general message to women is don't be small, don't compromise. If you want to be whatever you want to be, go for it. If you want to be an engineer, that's fine. If you want to be a full housewife, that's fine.
Be clear about what is important to you so that you channel your energies effectively. If your family is most important to you, put that first. If your career is most important to you, then put that first. But let it be your decision. Don't let the world decide and tell you who you should be. Own your narrative, own your personality, and certainly own your career.